Hi, this is Pam with Exact Medicare, and today we are lucky enough to talk with Jessie. She is from Smooth Transitions. Hi, Jessie.
Hi, Pam.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So tell me about your company, Smooth Transitions.
So Smooth Transitions is a professional move manager. A lot of people have never heard of senior move management. Everyone is familiar with moving companies. We've all used one at least once in our lives. But senior move management is really above and beyond what you think of when you think of a moving company. We provide the total wraparound services that a client might need before, during, and after their move. And not just for moving, but downsizing and home cleanouts as well.
How long have you been with Smooth Transitions?
I've been with the company for 3 years now. My background is actually in English education, so I was in the middle of my student teaching semester when COVID happened.
Okay.
So my senior year of college got cut a little short. And what I did during COVID, because we were all stuck in our houses so much, I started decluttering and downsizing my own apartment.
Great.
It was surprisingly fun, and I just found it to be really cathartic, especially during a season when there wasn't much to do. It helped me find clarity of what I wanted out of my life. And from there, I started helping some of my friends with cleaning out their apartments too. So we would just identify what's really important to you, what do you care about, and how can we clear out the clutter so that you can dedicate your energy to those things that matter most. And from there, my sister actually connected me with Smooth Transitions and said, I really think you're going to love their mission,
Aww.
what they're all about. And when I met with our owners, I could just see the heart that they had for serving seniors.
Okay.
And there was such a connection between what I'd been doing before and how my company helps seniors identify, what do you love most? How can we preserve that for you, that feeling of home in your new space?
And so typically, do you help seniors only when they're downsizing or when they're decluttering or the move? What typically do you see the most?
Yeah, so there's a wide range of situations we can help with, but I would say the typical situation is a client who's been in their home 30, 40 plus years, and they're downsizing for the first time to a senior living community. That might be independent living, assisted living, memory care, but they're facing the two really big questions anyone has when they're downsizing, which is, how do I decide what to take with me and make sure it fits? And what do I do with what's left behind?
That's incredible. So you mentioned somebody called a senior move manager.
Yes.
And that's what you guys are?
That's what we are. So a senior move manager, we aim to provide the compassionate, caring attention to detail that a good family member would, combined with the professional expertise of someone who does this day in, day out. Like, our lives are helping seniors move and downsize.
So but Jessie, what if they're like, well, my child will help me, my sister will help me, my uncle will help me. They have a truck. What do you say to that?
I get that all the time. And I tell those clients, you are so blessed to have family members willing to help with this process. I just encourage them to consider, how much time can your family members reasonably contribute? I really remind our clients that downsizing is unlike any move they've experienced before. It is not as simple as getting a U-Haul, loading it up with boxes, bribing your kids with pizza and beer.
Right.
It's not your out of college first move.
Right.
Really, this process requires a lot more preparation and a lot more cleanup afterwards. And so many times, the families we're serving have adult children with full-time jobs, children of their own. Many of them live out of state, and they simply can't take 2, 3, 4 weeks off of work to come help mom and dad, not just with the planning and the packing, but then also managing getting the house cleaned out and ready for sale. It's a big ask for most family members.
It is. So what you're telling me is a senior move manager specializes in this, does it day in and day out.
Yes.
How does one find a senior move manager?
That's a great question. And I'm trying to get it out there more and more because so many people don't even know this service exists. But there is an organization that we helped found called the National Association of Senior Move Managers. So if someone is looking for a company like Smooth Transitions, they can go to nasm.org, NASMM.org, and use the Find a Move Manager tool. It lets you put in your zip code, and it will pull up certified accredited move managers who are a part of this organization that sets the ethics, the values, and the standards for our industry.
Okay, just say that one more time really slow. NASMM.org.
movemanager.org.
Okay. And then they put in their zip code.
Yes.
And they find a senior move manager. And then can you like interview them to see what's happening in your area or who's available, or how does that work?
Yeah. So for most major metropolitan areas, there's going to be more than one senior move manager serving.
Okay.
So you can get consultations with 2 or 3 and compare what services do they provide? What are their rates? Do they offer a binding quote or an hourly rate? Those
That's
are all
awesome.
important questions to ask when you're interviewing move managers.
And typically, do they provide the truck, the boxes, the time it takes to figure out, I'm going to donate, I'm going to sell, I'm going to keep, I'm going to, what else is there? Throw away.
Yeah. So each move management company is going to have its own menu of services, but for the most part, we are pretty inclusive. So my location here in Columbus, we not only provide the team for floor planning, packing, unpacking, and setting up the client's new apartment. We also have...
You set up?
We do. Yep.
Wow.
Down to hanging pictures, mounting TVs, connecting electronics.
That's amazing.
It's white glove, full service. Very comprehensive.
Okay.
So I would say the average move manager is going to provide those main services of floor planning, packing. They might have their own movers, but typically they'll be coordinating with a moving company. And then they will also either perform the auction and donation themselves, or they have companies they partner with to come in and sell, donate, or dispose whatever is left behind after the move.
So typically, would you, according to your professional opinion, how long, or your experience, how long does it take to get somebody who's been in a house 30, 40, 50 years, downsized and moved to another, relocated to another, usually smaller spot?
I would say the average process for us is about 2 months from the time when we start working with them to their house being completely cleaned out and ready for market. So if they're moving, say, the first week in April, we might go out and do our initial floor planning walkthrough with the move manager at the end of February, early March. And then we would visit with our clients 1 to 2 times a week for the 4 weeks leading up to their move.
Okay.
We'll spend maybe 3 hours at a time with a small team helping the client sort through their clothes, their books, their dishes, making decisions about what will go with them on the move, maybe what will go to their kids. And then once move day comes, our team takes care of everything. They walk in, voila, it's done. From there...
Priceless, really.
Priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get tears at the big reveal, we know we've done our job well. And we've gotten quite a few tears recently, which
Jessie,
makes me feel
that's
really
awesome.
good.
Tell me something else you were going to say.
So I was going to say that, we perform... What's the best way to say this? So we complete the client's move, and we usually request that they wait 1 to 2 weeks before having us return to their house to do the clean out. The reason we do it in that order, move first, clean out second, is twofold. One, the sentimental attachment is a big part of what makes moving hard on anybody, not just seniors. So we don't want our clients to have to see their belongings going out of the home before they move. And the second reason we wait to do the clean out is we want the clients to have time to settle into their new space. And if they wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and think, oh my goodness, the photo album's in the basement, I totally forgot. My team has time to go back in, find what they need, grab something they might have changed their mind about, and get it to them before anything has gone to auction or donation.
I love that. But what if, you come to your loved one's home and they need a quick move? What about that?
We have helped in quite a few emergency turnaround situations.
Okay.
I think the record we have right now, there was a couple, and the wife was being discharged from skilled nursing, and the two of them were going to move into a community together. And they had to have the room completely moved, unpacked, and set up by the next day so that she had a place to come home to and a bed to sleep in that night. So Thursday afternoon, I went out, I met with the family, I did a consultation. My move manager came out and measured the furniture that night so she could make a floor plan. And the following day, we completely packed, moved, unpacked, and set up their new apartment. So they came home around dinner time with nothing to unpack.
I bet they were shocked.
They were absolutely stunned.
Were you?
Yes. I know my team is incredible, but still, every time they pull off a job like that, it just reminds me why I love the people that I work with.
Yeah, that is incredible. I love that so much. So what are some things that the loved ones can do to help during this process? I know you have your incredible team, but what's something that you want to just pass along to the loved ones?
Absolutely. So there are a couple areas where family can be really helpful. Some of the stickier items that it takes our senior clients longer to go through are often the really sentimental pieces like family photographs, handwritten letters. So family members can maybe take a little additional time to go through those memories with our clients, because what we found is your memories aren't stored in your stuff. Your memories are a part of you.
That's right.
And the way you keep those memories and stories alive is not by hanging on to every item you possibly can. It's about telling those stories to people you love and people who love you and can hold space for that with you. So I think having family members go through photographs and paperwork with their loved ones can really help ease the process of letting go and help it feel not so heavy.
Yeah, I love that. I can imagine them sitting together over a box of photos that they're agonizing over and just talking about the photos, because they're able to reminisce and tell stories and have peace and pass on their information to their loved ones without being like, here's a bag of, things.
Yeah,
here's a box of things.
Yeah.
That's right. And they're like, well, I don't know who this is. Well, it's your Uncle Joey from California, or, So that's cool. They get to go over all that in their head and share the stories. And can you tell us any more success stories that you've experienced with clients?
Oh, where do I even start? Our team is amazing, and I'm so proud of them every day. Another one that I thought of was a gentleman. His daughter was planning to help him pack up his small items. He said he really just needed some movers, which we do have movers at our Smooth Transitions location. So we sent 2 guys over to move his furniture for him, and they showed up, and the client was so sick, and no packing had been done, and he had to be out of his apartment completely the following day.
Oh my goodness.
So
my goodness.
His daughter came, got him to the hospital, got him the care that he needed, and we were able to pull in 2 of our move managers at the very last second. They packed up all his belongings. We got everything moved to the new place for him and made sure his apartment was cleaned out so that he didn't have to pay the next month's rent on his apartment.
That's a huge success story.
Yeah. The other one I really love to tell, we found 2 engagement rings for 2 separate clients. It's a surprisingly common occurrence.
No way. They lose them years ago, and they're like, well, I lost that, and then they don't look for them.
Exactly. Well, and when you have 50 years worth of stuff, it could be anywhere.
Anywhere.
And you don't know if you lost it at home or at the grocery store. So we were cleaning out a home for a lady. She had just moved her mom with us. And our movers lifted up a recliner chair, and they heard the clink of metal on metal and thought, what's that? And they looked underneath the chair, and lo and behold, the engagement ring had fallen down into the crevices, and it just came right out. And when we gave it to the family, they were completely overjoyed to have that back, because it's a family heirloom, not just their mom's, but it had been passed down.
And it would be stuck inside the chair.
Yes.
You can't lift the chair and see it on the ground. It's inside the chair.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. I love that so much. And I love jewelry. So
yep.
Near and dear to my heart.
We all love shiny things.
There we go. Yeah. Shiny things. Well, your company, Smooth Transition, sounds like something that would be a godsend to our seniors to, like you said, you don't just help seniors.
Yeah, that's right. So seniors obviously are primary clients because they're typically the ones doing this big downsize and need more help. But we've helped a wide range of clients, from business people who need to relocate quickly for a new job.
Wow.
Sometimes just young families when they have full-time jobs and kids under 10 that require a lot of attention, and they can't afford to put in all the time and energy it takes to pack up and then unpack their new home. So
they can literally find a move manager also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
At Smooth Transitions or at Move Manager, the one you told us about.
Exactly. Because NASM it's now the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers.
Excellent. Okay, that is amazing. We really appreciate it, because it is really good information for our customers.
Yes, education is so huge, because
it is.
When I started in this role and I went around to all the different senior living communities, I probably worked with 70 of them, and maybe 5 had worked with a move manager before. People just don't know that this industry exists.
And it's incredible, so needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need you. I need you. If I ever move, I need you.
Even I have an identical twin sister, and they moved up here from Cincinnati. It was a 900 square foot house. It was nothing, and she still was like, Jessie, I should have just hired you guys. This was so stressful, and I never want to move again.
And I love that you discovered that it was your gifting during COVID when you were. But it's true. I love giving stuff away.
It is so
I just need to get in my
cathartic.
basement and do it.
Well, that's it. Finding a free weekend, but normally you work all week and you go home and you're like, I don't want to do any more work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
but roping in someone who can help is really nice. So like my sister and I think so much alike that she can sit with me and I'll be like, do I need to keep this? And she'll be like, no, you haven't used it in 10 years. Just get rid of it. It's fine.
That's
you won't
good.
need it.
That's good. So Jessie, do you have any suggestions for families that are going through a transition like this?
Definitely. So my 2 big tips for clients and their families is to start early and start small. One of the biggest mistakes families make when they're downsizing is they wait until it's a crisis. We see this all the time where maybe the seniors know that they're starting to decline in health and think it's probably a good idea to move, but they're just not willing to make that leap because it's such a big transition. And we've unfortunately seen families wait until their health conditions have progressed to such a point that it makes the move so much more stressful. So we really encourage families to be thinking about this decision while they're healthy, while they're active, so that they have the time to make the decision that they're happiest with and not feel like their choices are constricted because they're operating in such a condensed timeline.
Just heavy pressure of like, we need to get this done now.
Yes. If, I don't really want, that probably brings things down too much. But truthfully, what I see is clients who fall and break a hip and then they have to move. Yeah. But you can leave
But we
that
can
out.
cut that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other tip is to start small. I don't know if any of your viewers are like me, but I tend to bite off more than I can chew. And when I hear something that inspires me, I just want to get after it right away. But downsizing is such a big process that you want to start by setting small goals for yourself. So instead of saying, I'm going to take Saturday afternoon and clean out the whole garage, you want to say something like, okay, I'm going to clean out 1 junk drawer. And then if cleaning out that 1 junk drawer takes 15 minutes, suddenly you can pat yourself on the back and think, oh, that
Success.
Yes, those little experiences of success help build up your confidence, your motivation, and your energy to tackle the bigger projects, whether it's your linen closet, your guest bathroom, your home office. You want to work your way through the smaller, less used portions of the home and the less sentimental items first, and save those tougher decisions for the end when you've really built up the decision-making muscles.
That's great advice. You're inspiring me to go in my basement and clean out 1 bin.
And you can do it. When you set a goal like 1 bin, it's much more achievable than saying, I'm going to clean out the whole basement.
And I'll text you when I do it. I'll be like, Jessie.
I would love that. Oh, well, there's another great tip too. It is so helpful to bring in someone you trust to help, whether it's a friend who's also downsizing and you guys can hold each other accountable. Maybe it's a really helpful family member who's gracious and patient, or a professional like us. You really want to have someone alongside you who understands your goals, who cares about you, and can support you in your work.
That is great. That is such great advice. What are some of the challenges that seniors are going through during this process? Because it can be really challenging to downsize your life or move, or when you just need to declutter.
For sure. So moving is stressful for anybody at any age, but particularly for seniors, and in large part because they are downsizing. Downsizing can come with feelings of losing your independence. I know many of our clients have felt that way, that going into a senior living community, they might have particular stereotypes or expectations of what that looks like. And really, senior living is so much more vibrant than what people maybe knew 30, 40, 50 years ago. But they do feel like they're losing some autonomy over their lives. And so when you're helping someone downsize, you really need to make them feel heard, respected, valued, and preserve their independence as much as possible. So when we are helping clients make decisions for their move, they are at the center of it. We want to know what they love, what they value, where their stories and memories are held, and to preserve those items for them as much as possible in the new home. So we're not making decisions for them. The family isn't making decisions for them. They are making their decisions, and we are here to be their hands and feet to support whatever decisions they make, accompanied by the professional expertise. So we know what they want, but we can also provide parameters of, this is exactly the square footage you have. This is how many cabinets, how many closets. And that gives us some guidelines of how much they need to condense so that it fits comfortably in their new space.
That is great. You are great. I want I want to hire you for all these people that need your help. You are just,
thank
you sound like a great team, and your heart is just really in this for the seniors. And you personally sound like you love this so much. And
I love it so much.
I love that you do. And it's great when someone loves their work.
Can
you think of any other tips for families?
I really want families to know that because moving is a stressful process, it can sometimes exacerbate things like memory loss, confusion, health conditions even. And I want them to be aware of that, because sometimes I see families get really impatient. And if mom or dad asks a question for the third time, the family members might snap and say, I've already answered that, or you've asked that before. So I just want to encourage families to remember to have grace, have patience, understand that this process is hard on everybody. And the best thing you can do is really just listen to your family and be encouraging and supportive.
That's great. That's so helpful. So Jessie, this has been such a great time with you. So much great information. What is the best way to get a hold of Smooth Transitions?
Thank you so much for having us. And
Welcome.
I would love anyone who's interested in our services can go to www.smoochtransitions.com and they can search our locations to see if there's a Smooth Transitions in their area.
Okay.
They can also call our national number at 844-266-4663, and I can help connect them to the right location.
Could you say that number one more time?
Yes, 844-266-4663.
Okay, that is amazing. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Jessie. You've been incredible. I know that you're going to help a lot of our viewers and customers and hopefully their families. So have a great day, and thanks again.
Thank you so much, Pam.